You will forgive my speechlessness. We have witnessed the unraveling of the world, and we're just getting started. I hope you don't think the world works the way you thought it did 5 years ago. I hope you can follow the trail of lies. But hope isn't exactly the word of the decade. I feel I should break my silence before the election, but I don't have to tell you these are unsafe times. I think a reminder of some of the lies we've been fed can help us put all the pieces together. We've all been born and raised in North Korea, and I don't mean the DPRK. Remember the ridiculous lies we were told North Koreans believed about their dear leader? How could any population believe in such nonsense? They didn't. You did. We know the world's religions are a lie. We know God is a lie. And yet about 3 generations of Americans pledged allegiance to one nation under said God every morning. All wars are bankers' wars. There hasn't been a war since the printing press that wasn't a lie. Yet we repeat, we're fighting for democracy. We have to fight them over there so we don't have to fight them here. And of course, gotta support the troops. They told us the wealth would trickle down. They had us defending the myth of the free market, the myth of the American dream, the myth of meritocracy, the myth of class mobility. They told us it was the communists who wanted to control our lives. Meanwhile, all children have been mandated for a century and a half to attend public indoctrination centers and conformity factories. Upon graduation, if they're lucky, they get to choose into which brand of slavery they sell themselves. They hate our freedom, we chanted, with more irony in our words than toxins in our brains. They put petroleum byproducts and hormones in our food, fluoride in our water, plastic in our air. And yet the same activists who alert us to these dangers will look you square in the eye and tell you the vaccines are safe and effective. They tell us the climate is changing. That much at least we can confirm with our eyes and our skin. They tell us the changes are man-made. That much is obvious. They tell us none of it is on purpose. They tell us that we need to protect the children. Yet the banks destroyed the extended family before any of you were born. They gave us the nuclear family, then attacked it immediately. They gave us birth control. They kept the women in school until half their reproductive years had passed, then employed them outside of the home thereafter with no maternity leave. They gave us no-fault divorce. They gave us VAWA. They gave us LGBT. They gave us more than enough good with the bad to keep us from noticing the pattern. Middle-class families cannot be allowed to build generational wealth. They tell us democracy is on the ballot. They tell us this is the most important election of our lifetimes, but they tell us that every 4 years. They tell us to vote for the lesser of two evils, and with the world readying for a climactic war, you can be forgiven for thinking they might have a point this time. Not that the lesser evil is who they want you to think it is. It was the Führer himself who gave us the following one truth. He said they always play both sides. They control what you think is the left. They control what you think is the right. You know they fund both sides of every war, just as they fund both political parties. Every third party is compromised. Every union is corrupted. All the world is a stage. Trump is an actor. The best you can hope for is that he's gone rogue, but I promise you it's all an act. They need a villain so that you would welcome authoritarian control. Fascism came to America before it even came to Italy. You've never known anything else. You've never lived in a world that wasn't run by and for the banks. Authoritarianism is already here. Censorship is already here. And it's all going to get worse regardless of any phony election. Trust no one. The corporatocracy lies like it breathes. Your friends and family are asleep, which they call woke, and yet another salute to Orwell. But the problem is so much worse than you think. What becomes of the mind when born and raised into a world which isn't real? Not only is what you know wrong, but what you feel is wrong. Your instincts are wrong, and this is the highest level of manipulation. What would you truly believe about anything from abortion to race relations if the issues hadn't been framed for you? What if your extended family were the only people you ever knew? What if you simply lived in a world before radio or newspapers, or religious services, to tell you what to feel? Which one of these is the real you? What would you hate if no one told you what to hate? Maybe centipedes, maybe lice. It's a short list, but a priori, there's no way age gap relationships are getting on there. They gave you the age of consent, they gave you the word pedophilia, then they changed its definition. In doing so, they discouraged foundations of healthy families, they made you hate your neighbor, they justified their police state, and they created a blackmail network that keeps the political and celebrity class in step. So happy Halloween, trust nothing, don't be a tool, enjoy this week's circus, it's all bullshit, the end is near.